Dr. Madhuri and me have been, working a lot on and trying to discuss the benefits of, growing microgreens for various aspects, for various needs, and so on and so forth. Not just microgreens, but I think agriculture in general. But the advantage we really have with microgreens is that microgreens can be grown in just about 1 foot by 1 foot square feet. So if you see this punnet of microgreens that I've grown, I have hardly used 1 foot by 1 foot space. I have had the experience of growing something, which I'll come to in detail a little later, which I could use as salads, which I could use as herbs in my rasams, which I could use, in various aspects of life. If you look at these microgreens here, wheatgrass juice, immunity booster, extremely high in fiber. Now, even this one is just grown in one little punnet. Now, there are two aspects to it. One is really enjoying the finished product, where I actually use the scissor, harvest the microgreens, either make a juice of it or make a salad and eat it, or to experience the actual growing, touching, feeling, sensory, motion, motory skills of growing these greens that help most needs, including special needs of children, age-related issues, and so on and so forth, that I think Dr. Madhuri could now enlighten us upon. After which I'm going to come back now to discussing on how one can actually grow microgreens at home before we get further. So Dr. Madhuri, could you please help us with taking the technical aspects on how it helps children with special needs and so on and so forth?
Yeah, so one of the things is, like Vikram said, we've been thinking about, alternative, when we define vocational training or an occupation for our youngsters or our teenagers, or even our children for that matter. I think we've been exploring something different. We've been trying to bring in new things, something simple we can do at home. It need not all be complex. It need not all be therapy based. In fact, when we were putting out the poster, we just chose to call it microgreens therapy because we're so attuned to hearing that word and it immediately makes sense to us. But otherwise, really, it's therapy for all of us, right? I think it's very therapeutic for us to be able to grow something and really calm down. So the aim here is that if we can introduce this to our children, our teenagers, our youngsters, it can be taken to any level. It can be a simple, simple activity you do with them to, either enhance fine motor skill, to focus on some practical learning. And the other thing is, if you can really focus, if you also end up enjoying it, you can also make a vocation out of it for your teenager or youngster. Okay, so really, I would like to say the ideas that can come up from here, I'm looking to get ideas from all the parents here at the end of this session as to how you can get your youngster involved, how you can get your child involved. And yeah, back to Chef Vikram, and we'll interact again at the end of the session. Yeah.
Thanks, Madhuri. So just to come back to all of you, this journey started, I think, about in 2017, when we brought the concept of bringing microgreens as a very gourmet product, or a product that would be sold only in 5-star hotels. The product took off very well. So even today, if we go to any 5-star hotel, we see these fancy leaves on top of food garnished and served. Then we thought and said, hey, no, this is a great opportunity of engagement, even with children, to actually try and sow and grow their own produce, because that experiment really teaches us a lot of experiences, including being patient, trying to nurture something. Much like keeping a little pet at home, we have situations where we've come back and parents say, hey, my child was really restless. We've been buying grow kits. So, he now goes, nurtures them, and he engages with them for a period of 7 to 8 days before actually making salads out of them and consuming them and then restarting this whole growth pattern. Unlike in this fast world where we have video games or we have television where everything is very spontaneous. So I think this whole journey of growing microgreens teaches us how to act as against how to react. So very quickly getting back to work, what we did was to create a microgreen grow kit. This small parcel can be shipped across the country. And this parcel actually has, let me open the seal for all of you to view. So this is the box. And when I open the box, it has various aspects of what we do, including a growing manual. So this manual can actually be used to read instructions. We have instructions both in the form of symbols as well in the form of text. One has to only simply read these instructions and follow how we grow it. So if you also see here, this is a little recipe that we have. So once you finish growing your microgreens, if there's really something that you want to do with them, there you go, there's a recipe, you can use it. Now, this particular microgreen that I've chosen today to grow with all of you is Alpha Alpha. Microgreens are said to have a lot of nutritional value, and if consumed at the two-leaf stage or the stage that it should be just consumed at, which is about this height that you can see here, or these pea shoots that you can see here. So we have a little lollipop where, as part of the engagement, we'd like to write a little date on it and then stick it in the microgreens as soon as we are done. The kit also comes with a little spray bottle, which you can fill up. It's about 100 and 150 ml of water. This spray bottle can be used to actually spray the microgreens with water every day. And, it's also measured, so you can use half a bottle each day and so on and so forth. I just have the bottle of water filled up. And then we have a potting mixture, as we call it. This potting mixture is basically a concoction of cocoa peat and various other organic ingredients that we use during the process of planting these seeds. Cocoa peat in itself has enough nutrition to actually take care of cocoa peat, of the microgreens growing. It all starts with reading of the instruction manual. However, I'm not going to read through it now because, thank you. So I'm not going to be reading through the instruction manual, but I will explain the process to all of you. So what I'm first going to do is I'm going to have the cocoa peat. I have a little punnet here. This also is provided in the kit. So I'm going to add this cocoa peat, a little potting mixture that we have put together, and I'm going to level the whole thing out, right? So now by doing this, I'm actually touching soil, I'm feeling it, I'm dirtying my fingers, it's moist, I can feel there are some fibers from coconut, I can feel there's, some compounds like mud and so on and so forth, and then now I'm going to level it. So I'm also spilling a lot of mud around because, I just believe that, the whole idea of playing with soil is something else. Muddying your fingers is something else. So there you go. Now what I've done is actually use this cocoa peat picked up a few stones that I find, so this is where it really becomes engaging for kids. Now they can actually have the stone in there, it's not going to create any harm, but it's always fun to pick out the odd one out, keep it aside, and so on and so forth. So these are really places where we see engagement and, find that kids really use their fingers the right way, making it, into a flat level. Madhuri, is there anything you want to say about this at this point in time?
Yeah, absolute fun activity for kids, and definitely, as all of you know, a sensory activity. Just give me a. Yeah, sorry. Yes, this is going to be a good sensory activity for the younger ones also, and definitely for all the autistic youngsters. Looks like a really good activity. And I love that, Vikram, you're okay with it being messy. And as I want all parents to also have that attitude.
Absolutely. No, I think there is perfection in imperfection, and that's what all of us strive for. If you see, even the place where I'm sitting, the walls are not painted, the walls are not plastered, but there is some form of perfection in the background that you see with that imperfection. So that's exactly what one would require to start with when you start growing microgreens and when you continue to grow. So here I have some seeds. We normally recommend you soak the seeds for some time, 6 hours, 8 hours, sometimes 12 hours. But once you actually learn to use it or learn to grow microgreens well, you don't need to really soak those seeds. So you can actually see there are seeds here. I'm not going to be sowing the seeds as yet, but these are seeds from a plant called alfalfa. Extremely nutritious, extremely fun to grow, and so on and so forth. So what I'm going to do is, before I place the seeds, I'm actually going to use this spray bottle to kind of put in a layer of moisture on top of my bed of soil. So it's more or less like a perfume bottle, or in today's day and age, I should be saying sanitizer bottle size. It has about 100 ml of water. And so now I'm going to very quickly spray just enough water to moisten the top. Wow, feels good to even have it on your hands. So here now we have the cocoa peat potting mixture in a punnet. A punnet is nothing but a pot which is made out of plastic. You could use plastic pots, you could use clay pots. We prefer using this because it's kind of flexible, it's not going to hurt us, and most importantly, I can reuse it at any given point in time, provided I'm careful, because it tends to break once in a while. And same with this spray bottle that we have. For the first time in a kit, it's available, but you can improvise. If you have a spray bottle at home, you can use it. Just make sure to use well filtered water, because microgreens are very, very sensitive to funguses, to bacteria, and they tend to catch on to them quite easily and quite quickly. So therefore, when we use water, make sure we always use filtered water. I'm not saying RO water, I'm not saying anything else, I'm just saying clean filtered water that one could consume. So now I've done that. As told and mentioned to you before, these are my seeds. Can you give me a cup if you don't mind? These are my seeds that I'm going to use. I have roughly about 30 grams of seeds in this. The other thing fun to do is, actually to ask kids to count these seeds. So, there are quite a few. There probably are a few hundreds in this. You can see me pour the seeds down. But yeah, so sometimes we've got our daughter to actually try and count as much as she can, just as an activity of learning an activity of trying to do some maths, trying to use finger skills because the seeds are so small. It makes it quite a challenge. That sometimes the seeds get stuck between your fingers and so on and so forth. So, the fun activity is also to actually try and get them to actually feel these seeds, count each and every one of these seeds, or even just pick up a bunch of seeds, drop them in, and count them. So now what I'm going to do is quickly I'm going to take these seeds, pour it into my palm, into my hand, which I have made a little cup, and I'm going to evenly spread all the seeds that I have in this kit. If you can see me quite clearly, yeah, sure, we can zoom it in a bit. So what I'm doing is actually to spread out all these seeds right through your. If you notice, I'm not being a perfectionist. I'm spilling seeds slightly over here and there. If you in fact come into my garden, you'll see byproducts of most of these plants because they grow to such huge numbers that we don't even know. But whenever we do seeding, we tend to miss a few seeds all around us, gather them all up and put them in one particular pot, and we get mixed greens, not just as microgreens but as fully grown ones as well. So now I've put in the seeds. What I'm going to do is quickly just with my fingers, you can, if you want, use a spoon. I'm going to make sure that the seeds are kind of tapped down very gently, very, very gently, just so that they get enough cushioning from the soil. Once I've done that, I can dust off the extra seeds and then go back to actually now taking a spray bottle and spraying those seeds again with a layer of moisture or water. Voila, there you go. So you can actually see that, the seeds are now well moistened, well irrigated, almost evenly packed. There is no need for, perfection in terms of having them placed like 100%. This is just fine. Once this is done, I'm going to clean the sides again with the side of my finger. Done. Now, there are two things we can do. One is use an unbleached piece of paper to cover this up. So I would cover it up and keep it aside. Number two, I can use newspaper, but some people still are uncomfortable with newspaper because they say, well, the carbon from the print might actually percolate into the seeds. Let's remember that the seeds are going to be covered only for 2 days, a maximum of 3, but then you're going to grow your microgreens for at least 7 to 8 days. So I don't see too much discomfort there, because even if there's any penetration, by the process of irrigation, the carbon gets filtered to the bottom, or, it eventually disappears. But anyway, I'm not going to debate that aspect of it. All I'm saying is use unbleached paper or newspaper, or very simply, just use the same cardboard carton box that you have to place on top and keep it covered. So ideally, once we finish putting microgreens and sowing the seeds, the process of sowing the seeds, what we're going to do is to cover them and keep them moist, keep them dark for at least 48 hours. During this process, observation is very critical. So every day, as part of the activity, one needs to go, open the box, check if everything's all right. Yeah, my seed's doing well. Yes, they're doing well. Are the sides of my tray clean? Yes. with my eyes am I able to see that there's enough moisture, because I don't want to touch the seeds now that I've sown them. The second I do touch them, there's chance and every chance of contamination. So what I'm going to do every day at the same time is again spray about half of this bottle of water back on the microgreens every morning or every evening, but stick to one time. And then I'm going to cover it. Very soon we'll start to see the seeds germinate. So you'll start seeing them sprout slightly. Now I will take a quick break and allow Dr. Madhuri to actually talk to us about the sowing process and the benefits of actually touching, feeling seeds, spraying this, counting the seeds, or distribution of seeds evenly, and so on and so forth. Dr. Madhuri?
I want to say a few things. I love that it's a pizza box, only it comes with something a lot more nutritious and a lot more sustainable. Yeah, so I love that whole format of it. And I think I think all the parents are, while you're watching this, it's going to be a lovely activity for the children. Again, I'm saying sensory benefit. Interestingly, Vikram, we use alfalfa to make a medication in homeopathy. So we actually use alfalfa as a medication for low energy, weakness, etc. And the sprouts, alfalfa sprouts, are extremely nutritious. You can just add them onto a salad. You use it like any other sprouted, any other sprouts, and also great for the kids to eat. And I think what will be really nice is the fact that you can grow it in such a small, space, like Vikram said, and the child or the youngster also gets to appreciate that, you've gone through the whole process of planting, letting it grow, and then picking it and actually using it in food. So that will be great. I think a lot of benefit here. Yeah, back to you, Vikram.
Lovely, lovely, Dr. Madhuri. Now I know the secret of my energy. I didn't know till now. But we consume sprouts almost in every form, every single day, and we love our lemon and wheatgrass juice. So without this, I don't even have my coffee every morning. Lovely. So now what I'm going to do is actually put this box on top. If you put a newspaper, please remember, if you add any form of unbleached paper, please remember that you should always, I'm going to use a different sheet here. I'm not using the one that I'm showing you. I'm using another one. Always remember that, once you put the sheet on top, to spray the sheet as well. Otherwise what's going to happen is you've taken so much effort in watering the seeds, but once you put a paper on top and the paper comes in contact with the seeds, the paper is going to start sucking up all the water that you've kept for the seeds. So if we water the paper as well, it's going to be heavy. And we are not going to have that situation. So either wet the paper or put a box that's bigger than the tray, which actually will not have any contact, and both work very, very well. Stage 1, we see small sprouts. Stage 2, we see fully grown. Stage 3, we have what's called harvested microgreens. I'm going to show this to you. This is what we've cut and brought from our farm just to show you. So this is how it's going to look. Is it clear on the camera? Yeah, so this is how it's going to look. Now this, for example, is white radish microgreens. Now you might ask, how do I eat it as a salad every single day? No, let's not get this wrong. At home, we make mooli parathas with mooli microgreens. So all you need to do is really add this microgreens into your chapati dough, knead them out, make your regular parathas, chapatis, and so on and so forth. And it tastes just the same as a mooli paratha, except you made it with something that people, have claimed. There are paper reports that is 40 times more nutritious than the actual microgreens. So like I said, one thing is about growing it. One thing is about experiencing, touching soil that is sterile. I mean, obviously with today's COVID situation, all of us are very, very wary about where we go, what we do. All the cocoa peat of good quality that is used here in the potting mix is all steam sterilized. The steam sterilization is basically to get the bacteria and the funguses and the molds out. So we steam the cocoa peat up to a good temperature to make sure that it's completely sanitized, it's clean, then we pack it. So what better way than to actually grow microgreens this way? Once we do it, day one, day two becomes observation time. So we put it under observation, and then every 6 hours, we probably open that box, take a look at it, and check for it to have sprouted. Once the alfalfa microgreens are sprouted, happily keep them away by the windowsill or in the shade of sunlight or under a tube light or just anywhere that you are, and you'll see them grow over a period of time. This whole engagement process is about 1 week, after which, like I said, you can use the scissors, cut the greens, harvest them, and use them for whatever you want. Yes. So that's that. And Dr. Madhuri, I'll allow you to take a few minutes to say a few things while I now can quickly write my tag, date stamp my microgreens, and fix it in here. Also, get my laptop ready because I have a little video to share. So what I'm going to do is actually turn on that, have a screen share with all of you, and play a little video about the microgreens that we've grown and how to plant them for you to get a closer picture.
Yeah. Yes, Vikram. Go ahead. I think I'm sure there are going to be a lot of questions. I have a couple of questions already.
Sure.
But we'll let you finish. But I do want to tell everybody, we have always known that when you sprout any of the green moong or any of those, it definitely becomes more nutritious. In the same way, microgreens are much more nutritious than your regular green leafy any of your greens that you eat. So this is a great option. And if you look it up, you'll really find so many recipes. In fact, it doesn't have to be anything complicated. A simple salad you make at home with cucumbers and something we eat maybe every day with our meal. You can just add the microgreens into it. Or I loved what Vikram shared regarding, you can just use them in your parathas. You can use them in your cooking. Yes, always better uncooked, better to eat it raw. And even if you see alfalfa sprouts, they're so delicate and it's you hardly feel like you're eating anything, but it really adds, it's almost like adding a whole capsule of vitamins and, energy into your food. So that's great. Yeah. Vikram, you can do the screen share. Go ahead and try the screen share.
Yes.
Yeah.
In the meantime, I think, should we take some questions? That might take a few minutes.
Yes, absolutely. So anybody who wants to ask a question, you can go ahead, please unmute turn by turn. The other option can be, you can type it on the chat box and one of us will read it out. Sujini, can you take the questions, please?
Yes, I can. I think we'll wait because we just opened the open for questions, right? So maybe they're still typing. Madhuri, would you like to ask the question? You had something in mind, right? Would you like to start off?
Yeah. So Vikram, so typically so you said 1 week to harvesting, 1 week to 10 days. Is that what you said?
Usually depends
on the particular type,
depends
right?
on the variety, because if I want to grow wheat at this level, it takes me about 15 days.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what we've also done in the kits that we have, we've kept products that mostly sprout within the first 10 days per se, just so that it's easy. But for example, if I take beetroot microgreens, it'll take me 21 days. Okay. And that period of engagement is too long for us to actually engage and work with microgreens, because at some level it requires professional help.
Yeah.
So
I think-
most microgreens that we have, a week, maximum 10 days.
Okay, that's really nice, because I think it'll also help us learn that patience. You know, you can't keep opening it every few hours and see if it has sprouted or, you know, it started growing. So it definitely will help cultivate patience. And you know, something I must tell you, there's something very interesting I saw. I saw and read about this family who started this off as a hobby for their autistic youngster, and then they ended up you know, having a room full of this simultaneously grown. They were supplying their entire neighborhood with it. So I found that so beautiful. I mean, you can really just start with one kit and see how the experience goes. And then, you know, I'm sure, Vikram, we can also figure out some way where if some parents want to take it up as, you know, they want to grow a lot, you know, how you can collaborate, how you can help them out, right? Or even guide them. Yeah, so I'm sure we can figure that out. We have we have a few questions here. Sujini, back to you.
Yeah, we do. So Vikram, the first question is the soil reusable after the harvest?
No. The answer for that is no. The soil in this particular case is not reusable, because you will actually find a webbing of roots that are so dense. And if you really want to see that, I can show it you right away. Let me pull this wheatgrass out for you. These are the roots. These are the roots. So there is no soil. These are the roots. So therefore, what we do is actually, after we cut the wheatgrass or cut the microgreens and harvest them, we use the base, which is a combination of the soil as well as the roots, to actually, you know, I mean, we use it in a gamla pot, which is used for composting. And I recommend that you do the same as well. Or if you have pots at home and plants, just dump it in there and then it becomes compost. But this is how hard the roots are.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Vikram. The next one is, after harvesting, in how many days should they be consumed?
So the answer to that is harvest as much as you need. For example, if I have this tray of pea shoots, I would divide this into 4 days. So I would harvest one strip, use it today, harvest the next strip tomorrow, use it tomorrow, the next strip day after, and then the next strip day after that. So only harvest as much as you need. Allow the rest of it to grow. Don't harvest the whole thing together. That would be my answer.
Okay. The next question, Vikram, is, does the potting mix only contain cocoa peat or some amount of soil?
No. So the cocoa peat that we use has steam sterilized cocoa peat. It has a ratio of vermicompost. It has a ratio of a few other organic ingredients that, you know, we just believe will bring up the nutritional value of the microgreens.
Okay. Any other questions?
Hi, sir.
Hi.
Did somebody ask a question? Yeah.
There's one more in the chat box.
Oh, yes.
What is the life of wheatgrass? So this wheatgrass that you can see is about 8 to 10 days old, but I can grow it for easily another 4 more days. I would have ideally consumed 50% of it by now. So once you plant the wheatgrass, you have it for about 15 days.
Okay. For how many days can we drink wheatgrass juice?
Well, I'd leave that to the doctor to answer. Dr. Madhuri?
Yes, wheatgrass juice can be consumed regularly, but there has to be a very clear understanding of what it is being used for. Yeah, so that's a session on its own. I think we'll take it up later. Yeah, I have one question here which Mrs. Jayashree has asked. She said, where do we get these kits, Vikram?
So I will come to that as soon as we finish this video. So, there's a better understanding of how you can grow these microgreens. I can share with you the website that where you can access these microgreens, and I will come to that towards the end of this workshop. But for now, can I quickly share the video? And once I stop the video, then can we get back to questions?
Sure, Vikram. Sounds good.
Dr. Madhuri, can you help me with screen share, please?
I think it's allowed. Did you try? Yes, Vikram, we see it.
Vikram, is there sound on
No.
because okay, there's no sound?
No, there's just some background music. I've disabled that.
Okay, all right.
Sorry about that. Just 1 second.
Yeah, no problem. Absolutely
Yeah. So
loved
there you
that
go.
video, Vikram. Absolutely
Yeah.
loved it. It was so calming even just to watch it. I think there's something very, very deep and spiritual about watching, life grow. That's absolutely amazing. And I think especially during this COVID time, all of us are at, home. We have, we really don't know when we're going to be able to get the kids out into a farm or into the, green. So I think it's so beautiful that we can bring a piece of nature home and give the kids this experience and really give ourselves this experience. I'm really looking forward to doing this myself.
No, wonderful, Dr. Madhuri. So now coming back to, answering, I think there were a few questions unanswered. I'd like to answer those. In the meantime, for those who want to really buy the kits, what you can do is visit www.earthisticagro.com, which is the website mentioned earlier in the screen share. Madhuri, I'll just put that up again just so that people have the time to make notes. before I exit screen share. So that would be www.earthisticagro.com. You also have my mobile number 9980888862. My only request is drop me a WhatsApp. The reason being, I'm sometimes on the run, trying to manage a whole bunch of things, and I might not be able to answer the phone all the time. So just drop me a WhatsApp with your number, whatever your queries are, and I'll have my office or somebody from my office respond back to you immediately. My email address is what you see on the screen, vikram@earthistic.in, vikram@earthistic.in. Drop me an email anytime and I assure you of a response. For the kits, you can buy the kits on earthisticagro.com. Just remember that prior to making your order, please add a prefix with, I'll just exit the screen. Top share. There you go. Yeah, Madhuri, can you devise what prefix they can use?
Sure, they can go with Mitra if you're okay with the.
Yeah, so you can mention Mitra and then your name, because I mean, Mitra for Life has been doing so much good work that we would like to share a part of the, you know, the proceeds from this particular activity to Mitra for Life to do better work, you know, I mean, help them with the foundation and whatever work they are doing. So we'd like to use Mitra as a code, and any of you order and use Mitra before your names, please be rest assured that part of the proceeds will go to Mitra for Life towards organizational activities and other wonderful activities that the organization does. Back to questions now. Any other questions?
Sorry, 1 second. I'd like to say something. Vikram, so why don't you tell them where you're based out of? So basically Bangalore based. Go ahead, Vikram.
Yes, so we are Bangalore based, but we ship across the country. I think just today we had one shipping to Sikkim. Today we had one shipping to somewhere in Assam. I'm not too sure. So a lot of Northeast, you know, we get orders from North India. We get a lot of orders. Bombay, the South, you know, Chennai, Hyderabad, Cochin, a lot of smaller towns as well. So we have a good network, a good reach. We are based out of Bangalore. But yeah, we don't have a retail store or anything of that sort. We believe to keep as asset-light as possible, just so that, you know, I mean, we share that benefit of cost saving with our customers.
You mentioned a farm, Vikram. Can you tell us something about that?
Yeah, so Earthistic Agro has a B2B wing, which basically is a wing that we take care of hotels, restaurants, and we grow microgreens for them. So currently we service about 90 hotels and restaurants across Bangalore and Hyderabad. Our farm is located in the heart of Jayanagar. Our farm is in Jayanagar 5th block. I mean, it's basically an old house that has been converted into a vertical farm, and that's where we do most of our agricultural activities. So all the microgreens that are grown completely indoors under complete sanitization. In fact, we don't even recommend our customers to wash the microgreens in order to retain properties of vitamin B12.
Wow, that's very interesting. I loved the concept of our farm is in Jayanagar 5th block. In the middle of a completely residential place in Bangalore, having a farm and saying vertical, and I mean, it sounds absolutely wonderful. I'm really going to look forward to seeing, you know, which families are going to take this up as an idea and really take it forward. I'm sure Vikram will support us if we decide to make a project out of this. And, we can explore a lot of things here with your support, Vikram. So we're looking forward to that.
Most definitely.
Yes. Sujini, back to you. You can take the questions. Thanks.
Thank you. So one question is, can we cover it with glass instead of paper?
No, glass will allow light to penetrate, and seeds are not, they need moisture and they do not need sunlight in order for them to germinate. So you might not see germination at all if you put glass.
Okay. And the next one is, while we are harvesting, do we need to just cut the, cut the sprouts or just pluck them from the root to use?
Always please cut. So if I have a scissor, I would cut.
Okay.
Because this way I don't get any of the cocoa soil or the vermi mixing, the peat into the product. And ideally I don't want to wash this product because I have grown it indoors.
Right.
Any more questions?
I have one question, Vikram. When we, since you said you can harvest them, in portions, depending on your usage. So for how many days can we actually keep them? So if so today, if I just use a small bunch and maybe after 2 days I again harvest a small bunch, but provided I spray water every day, correct? So for how many days would it last? Would it be fresh?
See, microgreens are basically greens that go up to 2.5 inches, except in the case of wheatgrass.
Okay.
And to a 2-leaf stage.
Okay.
Beyond that, they don't have that nutritional value that a microgreen will have. So ideally, if it takes 6 to 7 days to grow, consume it in 3 or 4 days. Don't wait beyond that for this kind of volume of microgreens.
Okay. Anybody else? Any other questions? Do you ship to Dubai, Vikram?
Unfortunately, we don't, because it has seeds. But what one can do is buy the kits from us. In fact, as we talk, right here I have a consignment. Right here we have a consignment for Abu Dhabi. But yeah, so this consignment is being shipped by us to Chennai, and the buyer in Chennai is then going to ship it to Abu Dhabi as a gift for the family or whatever, So it works that way, but IE codes or import-export codes don't work that easily for seeds.
Right.
Yeah, so my recommendation on that front is, if there is any shipment that you want to do, buy it, pack it and ship it.
Right. Yep. Good idea.
So cost of one kit is how much?
Sorry?
Then ask
Cost
the
of the
cost.
Each kit. So the kits work on 2 different modules. I think there's one kit is $349, and then some seeds is $399. This includes the cost of shipping. So basically the courier charges are waived off, are covered in this cost. And on the website currently there is a 10% discount.
Okay.
So it would roughly cost you about 315 rupees, if I'm not wrong, including shipping.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, in fact, so Mrs. Jayashree here has said, I think we'll definitely take this up as a project for our children in vocational training center in the future. We need moral support at that time. We do hope to get initial guidance from from Earthistic.
Most definitely.
Yes, I think one thing I'd like to say is we were talking about, we really wanted this topic of microgreens to be discussed on this platform. And one of the reasons we have Vikram here is, of course, Vikram and I have known each other a long time. And one thing Mitra for Life we've always tried to do is bring in the people with the right attitude, so that you know, as long as we support each other, that's when the impact can happen. We make it a point that it is not just about the topic we're introducing or what we're talking about. The person's attitude, the organization's attitude towards special needs, towards our youngsters makes a huge difference. And Vikram is great when it comes to this. So we will reach out to you, Vikram, for some support. And let's see if we can make a big, nice project out of this. I'm looking for a lot of, yes, and I'm looking for a lot of parents to get involved. In fact, I'd also like to hear from a few people, what other ideas can we, you know, bring into this zone of how can we bring microgreens to our youngsters, to our kids with a lot of benefit. If somebody has some ideas right now, please do share.
Hello,
Yes.
good evening. I am Sanjana. And Vikram Udaygiri, that's my Chiku, that's my uncle. And I'm also doing my master's in audiology and have completed my course in speech and hearing. So we come across people, children who are basically with special needs. And talking about microgreens in children with special needs, I would like to tell there are basically a lot of uses, especially fine motor skills, the development of it, because as it was explained, the spraying of water, again, that's going to become a fine motor skills. And then the soil, touching the soil, feeling the soil, and the seeds, because in our regular cases, again, we actually use seeds, cotton, something very soft, something very hard, and again, it becomes a sensory therapy activity for all the children.
Yes, Sanjana, thank you so much. Anybody?
We have one more question,
Yeah,
Madhuri,
sure.
if I may.
Yeah.
Yes. So Sonal asks, any microgreen with 2-leaf stage is nutritional value to consume, as Vikram said, but after that, is it not safe to consume?
It is very, very safe to consume, no problem. It probably has the same amount of nutritional as well. I'm not really an authority on that. You know, I'm at the end of the day a farmer. This is whatever I'm saying is based on what I've read. But it definitely has nutrition. But I think the best part of the microgreen to enjoy is at that two-leaf stage.
Great.
I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, we really have to build on our green appetite and consume it.
No, absolutely. And I mean, I'm saying it out of my own experience. Wheatgrass juice keeps you going for like a really long time. As long as it's, you know, I mean, fresh, consume microgreens, helps in metabolism and so many things. It just makes you feel much, much lighter, you know, consuming these products as food products. And the whole idea of sowing what you're growing and then your own little farm to the fork. Oh, what more can you ask for?
Yes, absolutely. And let me second that. I've eaten at Chef Vikram's couple of restaurants in the past, and the food has always been absolutely brilliant. And I know even at that point, the salads, you know, would have sprinkling of microgreens. It would be absolutely amazing. So maybe what we'll try and do is, along with all the information that he had displayed, you know, contact information, etc., which we will share on the group, we'll try and dig up a couple of recipes where you can use microgreens and also share it. something that will be tasty. In fact, or everybody with youngsters, special needs youngsters, please encourage them to try the recipes on their own. It can be added inside a sandwich. It can be added onto a salad. Get them to do it. It'll be a wonderful experience for them. Yeah. Thank you. Sujani, if there are any more questions, we can take it. Otherwise, we can wrap up.
There's just
Well,
one
I'd
more.
like to thank Sanjana for those few points that she brought out on motor skills and so on and so forth. She's probably technically qualified to bring up those points. So thank you very much, Sanjana, again for doing that.
All right. So one more question is, if we courier it, will it be fresh?
The product has a 9-month shelf life, if not more. We have on the product a batch number before we pack it, so we know which batch it has come out of. The seeds are securely packed in a little pouch, which reads the label number, the variety, the lot number, germination minimum, net weight, tested date, packaging date, customer service, which is again our customer service number, expiry date, genetic purity, which seasons it can be grown under, a whole bunch of other information on what we call the truthful label. So as long as this pouch is not tampered with, your seeds are good to go. Your cocoa peat really does not have a shelf life because it's packed again in a nice sealed pouch. There's nothing else that has a date to it in it. Once you start growing it, consume it when the time is right. That's all I would recommend.
Thank you, Vikram. Thank you so much. Over to you, Madhuri.
Yeah, so one thing I'd like to say is we would all love to see any of you who pick up kits and decide to do this. We would love to see pictures or small videos of your child, of your youngster, going through this entire process. We would love to hear how it went for you. So that, I would really like to discuss how we can take this forward as a vocational. We'll also connect with a couple of organizations and see how we can provide this as a vocation. But you can also do this at home. That's what we really love about it. You don't have to wait. This is a great time to be doing it, and we'd love to see what you come up with. Do share your pictures and videos. And Chef Vikram, thank you so much for taking your time out. It was absolutely brilliant session. I know I'm going to try these. Definitely give it a shot at growing them. I would love to have a whole bunch of them in my balcony. So let's see how that goes.
Dr. Madhuri and team, again, thank you all very much. All the viewers here on this show, thank you very much for participating. Thank you for giving us an opportunity to share what we have tried to put together as a product for various, requirements. Thank you for giving us the time and opportunity to demonstrate all of this, and look forward to seeing you all soon, somewhere, sometime. Stay safe.
Thank you, Vikram. I'm just waiting to get my box. I think somehow I'm going to work on getting it here because I have a friend of mine who's also here from Dubai. So I'm sure we are going to plot a plan to get it here now.
Most definitely.
Thank you. It's been very, very informative session. Thank you so much, Vikram.
No, thank you very much. Thank you. And please feel free to contact us if there be anything.
Yes, absolutely. Sounds good. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Thanks all the parents who've joined us today.